Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon, and I do get to ride home with you. It's always a pleasure. You can find us syndicated on Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. You can also find us on the biggest country radio station in South Carolina. That's WZLA. Real proud to be part of that team. Another way you can find us is on another television station. That's Channel 182 on Charter Communications, part of the Spectrum Network, and that's found also up in Alabama, up in the northern part of Alabama. So really proud to be part of that as well. You can always find us on all the social media sites as well. Facebook.com, number one there, Facebook.com/DFiesel. And I wanted to say that because if you are at work right now, please don't get in trouble watching the show. It airs Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. I want you to be able to watch it whenever you can. And you can do that on all of my social media sites. It's always there. Let's go ahead and the email. Go ahead and send email to Donna@donnasedge.com, just like you see right there in the little ticker, Donna@donnasedge.com. And also make sure you check out the QR code, and you're going to really be glad you did, because Vivian Cumins is with us right now. Vivian, thank you so much for being on the show. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me. Well, my name is Vivian Cumins, and fun fact, I married the best man from my first wedding, and my husband and I have been now married almost 24 years. Long story there. We'll save that.
I bet. We'll save that for another time.
But I'm a bonus mom to two now grown adult children, and I have 5 grandchildren. They call me Glammy. And love that. I spent 27 years with the federal government. 14 of those was with the Air Force. And then I moved over to the Forest Service, where I retired recently, took an early retirement last year. And in retirement, I wrote 2 books and had them published. And oh my goodness, now I'm a co-host on Abundant Television Salted with my 2 co-hosts, Stephanie and Molly. And I'm loving this new season of life. It's different, but I'm loving it.
I got to ask you about Salted. Okay. First of all, Abundant Television is awesome. And everybody loves Rob Paz. So I've known him for a number of years. And this guy is ambitious, and he is such a cheerleader for all the talk show hosts. I can't believe the guy.
Yes. You know what? Rob reached out to me. I think I put my name out there on one of the podcast sites and was like, hey, I wrote some books. If you want to have me on your show, I'd love to be there. And he reached out to me and had me on the morning break with him. And we hit it off so well and had such camaraderie and silliness. And so then later on down the road, I got to be a guest on Salted with the 4 ladies. It used to be 4 ladies. And then shortly thereafter, they asked me to join the panel with them. And so I was just so incredibly honored. It is a talk show, women's talk show, and it airs every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And my co-host, Stephanie Esposito, she does some single interviews with our wonderful guests. And then once a month, the last Tuesday of the month, us girls get together on the panel and we talk about a lot of those issues that were discussed throughout the month. And these are issues that every woman is facing, and nothing is off the table. We dive into some pretty controversial topics sometimes, but I think it's conversations that we need to have. And so God calls us to be the salt and the light. And so that's where the name came from. And I think I am on my 4th month now doing Salted. So
that's great. So let me ask you a question, okay? Because, women, we feel like we have different ideas of the way we do things. I'll give you an example. So we were living in Charlotte, North Carolina. My show used to be there. I was there for a number of years. And so I had a Christian psychiatrist on the show with me. Happened to be a dude. And so he was talking about the movie or the book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, had just come out. And I said, you aren't kidding me. We were talking about the difference between men and women. I said, so this is what happened the other day. I said, Phil and I, my husband, Phil and I, were driving down the road. He was driving. And we passed the Wendy's. And I said, I like Frosties. And he just kept going. And then I kind of patted on him a little bit, and he said, "Is there something wrong?" And I said, "Yeah, why didn't we stop and get a Frosty?" He said, "You didn't say you wanted one." I said, "Yes, I did." And he said, "No, you didn't. You said you liked them. You didn't say you wanted one." And I said, "Well, by saying that, that meant I wanted one." And I thought the show was only watched by women. I started getting email from men who were saying, "Why can't you women just say whatever it is you want? Why do you have to go through riddles?" Do you hear that from guys and from women? Like, we answer things in riddles.
Yes. And yes.
We can't.
We do, and we expect the men in our lives to just know what we are thinking and what we want, and they don't. And so I'm actually learning to tell my husband exactly what I want. You know what I mean? Stop beating. And I don't know why I've always had to like beat around the bush, because he never gets it. 24 years and he still doesn't know how to read my mind. And so now I'm getting to where it's like, "Hey, babe, will you carry the laundry basket up the stairs? You know, don't just leave it there. Like I usually just like leave it there and think, oh, he'll pick it up." Well, no, I mean, he doesn't think about that. So I have to say, "Hey, babe, will you grab the laundry basket?" And just tell them what you need. Tell them what you want. They're happy to accommodate. They just don't know.
Yeah, they can't read our minds. And we think if we give this little subtle hint, they should be able to pick up on it, right? So my grandparents had been married 67 years when my granddad passed away. And so every year, after the 50th wedding anniversary, we gave them a party, because that's an accomplishment. So they had been married for 65 years. And so this particular one of my cousins who'd been married a few times actually came to my grandmother and said, "Aunt Sybil, how can you be married to somebody for 65 years? I mean, how do you do it?" And so she was about to give us the secret, but Phil was hanging around. And so I was trying to get rid of him because I didn't even know what the secret was. It's just between women, you know what I mean? So anyway, I said, "Honey, don't you have somewhere to go? Bye." And he said, "No, I want to hang around. I want to see what this is." So because he had a feeling I was doing something to him, he just didn't know what. So I said, "Let him listen." So my grandmother said, "Well, what I do is I wear the pants in the family, but I let him think he does." And that was great sound advice.
That is so cute. I love that.
That could be a Southern thing. I'm from the South.
Oh, well, I'm from Oklahoma. Now, we like to say we're from the South, but we're really the Midwest. But we still have a lot of...
We have our ways. So you know where I'm coming from.
I know exactly where you're coming from.
You get it.
And by the time we're done with this interview, my accent is going to be like way up here. He's going to be like, yes. He's going to be like,
I'll bring it back. The South is going to rise again with me and you. But that is true. I mean, we just have to be really truthful in everything we say, because if you give a hint, sometimes, it comes out wrong.
Yes.
And I'm always concerned about text. So one of my friends one day sent a text, and I sent her one back. And then she sent a text back and wanted to know what I was mad about. And I'm like, what is she talking about? And I'm looking, did I accidentally type something weird in there? And I looked, no, it was just a normal answer right back. And so I sent her one back. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Why do you think I'm mad? And she said, because you yelled at me on your text. And I said, I don't see any emoji or anything that shows that I'm yelling at you. What are you talking about? I had accidentally pressed something and I was sending it in caps. So what I didn't realize is, sometimes it's just education. You just have to figure it out. So I did not know I was yelling at her with my answer. So sometimes I'm even afraid of sending a text.
I'm going to tell you what, Donna, this is the thing with me. I'm a writer. I'm a published author. You would think that I would proofread my text messages before I hit send.
You see why I'm about to start laughing, because I'm thinking of some things I've done.
I mean, but my mind works really fast. I'm just constantly, going. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just typing it out, and then I'm sending it. And then I have moved on to the next thing that I'm doing, right? And then every now and again, I'll look back at my text and I'm like, that makes no sense. There's so many spelling errors, and autocorrect will change the word to something that makes no sense. Now, my husband has grown because he knows me, so he has learned to read over all of the incorrect grammar and misspellings, because he's like, I know what she's trying to say. But I do that all the time, and then I have to send a follow-up one and be like, y'all, I am so sorry. And I still haven't learned to slow down. I still do it, and That's terrible to be an author and you can't even spell on your text.
Sometimes I think there's a little demon inside that phone that wants to mess you up. It's messing with you. And sometimes I've learned to I look first. And so I'll go, ooh, I'm glad I looked at that because that would have been embarrassing for his client to have seen that. So, I mean, I totally get what you say. But sometimes communication just happens. And we don't mean to miscommunicate. It just happens. But then we got to straighten it up and fix it.
Yes, I agree. Always got to go back and fix it. But for me, it's slow down.
Mm-hmm.
That's the message for me today.
Well, that's another way we're different from the guys, because we can do like 10 things. Mm-hmm. I'm like you. I'm doing this. I'm sending a text. I'm doing this. And so we can do that. The guys are just not geared that way. Mm-hmm. And my husband says sometimes I'm just worn out just looking at you. I mean, because you're just doing all these different.
My husband says I scurry. So in the evenings, this is so funny. So when it's time to go to bed, he gets up, he goes to bed. I get up and I am doing all these things, making the coffee, making sure the doors are locked, turning on the outside light, turning on some inside lights. I mean, I have my rituals and he's like, "Are you done scurrying?" And I'm like, "Almost." So it takes me about 5 minutes to get up there after he's already in bed, tucked in and ready to go sleep.
But then again, the guys have this other way about them that I wish we had more of. And one of those is just saying it like it is. You don't have to guess. Like I've learned, does this dress make me look fat? I mean, he will not, he will say it nicely. I mean, he'll be really calm. And one time I've always had long hair. And, but one time I thought, I just want to change. So I had my hair cut kind of shoulder length. And so I come in, I didn't even tell him I was going to do it. So I come in from work and I'd had my hair done on my lunch hour. And he just kind of looked at it and he goes, "That's different." Well, I could tell he didn't like it,
No.
And so because it was just like a huge change. So my son is a teenager at the time. He runs down the stairs and he goes, "Oh, Mom, okay, all right. It'll grow back out, right?" So that's the truthfulness.
You guys.
And a guy, how dudes are. But I like the frankness. I like it because, I mean, I want to know the truth about things. I don't want to like go around 10 bin cycles to try to figure it out. And so when I ask a question, it's like, I really want the answer. And my husband will say, "Now, do you want the true, unvarnished answer to this?" And I'll say, "I want the truth, even if it hurts me. I start crying in your face. Tell me." But that's kind of refreshing. And sometimes we don't do that. We're so afraid we're going to hurt somebody's feelings. We'll just not say anything or. But how can we be a little, without being like a guy, how can we be a little more in favor of this? I'm just going to tell it like it is.
I think I try to do that, actually. I mean, I would never want, like, if another sister comes to me and says, "What do you think about this dress or this top?" If it doesn't look good on her, I don't want her to go out and be embarrassed. I mean, you know what I mean? If it's too flashy or her chest is out or whatever, I want to give her that feedback. And that's exactly what it is. It's feedback. And you can take it or you can leave it. But I try to do that because I want people to do that with me. If I've got something, anytime my husband has something on his face, like when we're eating or something, if he gets some sauce, I always tell him, but I have gone around with something in my teeth or on my face and nobody's told me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want somebody to be honest and say, "Hey, you got something hanging off your face," You go
to the restroom. "Oh, there's broccoli on my teeth."
Exactly.
I mean, that's happened a million times. Let's go into a commercial break. I can't believe Over the Show is gone. So let's go into a break. We'll be right back. Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. You know, finding the right home isn't just about bedrooms and square footage. It's about comfort, security, and the feeling you get the moment you walk through the door. That's why so many families across Greenwood and the Lakelands area trust Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams. And I'll tell you from personal experience, Jenny was my realtor, and she truly cares about her clients. Jenny takes the time to listen, to understand what matters most, and to guide you every step of the way, whether you're buying your first home, upgrading, or ready to sell. Because this isn't just a transaction, it's your life. With local knowledge, personal care, and a commitment to getting it right, Jenny Ferguson makes the process simple and even enjoyable. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, now's the time to make your move. Call Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams in Greenwood today and take the next step toward a place you'll truly love coming home to. Shine your style at Kiss My Glass right here in the Anderson Mall. There's a place where style meets sparkle. At Kiss My Glass, every piece is handcrafted, custom designed, and made to shine just like you. Owner Beth Gibson brings creativity to life with stunning custom tumblers, gifts, and one-of-a-kind pieces you won't find anywhere else. Look for the perfect gift or something uniquely you, from bold and glamorous to simple and elegant. There's something for every style, so stop by, get inspired, and leave with something unforgettable. Kiss My Glass inside the Anderson Mall, Anderson, South Carolina, where your sparkle begins. Be sure to check out Kiss My Glass on Facebook for updates and specials and gift ideas.
Because of your overwhelming support, our $14.88 MyPillow has been one of the biggest sales in MyPillow history. I couldn't think of a better way to say thank you than to extend our wholesale pricing through Christmas. Get a classic standard MyPillow for only $14.88. Upgrade to a queen size, just $18.88. King size, only $1 more. Get my body pillows for only $29.88. And ready? Multi-use MyPillows, only $9.88. It's perfect time to stock up for Christmas gifts for everyone on your list. Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our wholesale pricing, including my classic standard MyPillows, only $14.88. But that's not all. I'm so confident you're going to love our classic MyPillows that I'm going to extend my 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2025. Plus, orders over $75 ship absolutely free.
Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. Thank you so much for being with us. Vivian and I definitely appreciate it. And Vivian has done a lot of things in her life. She's a talk show host, and she is also the author of some books. So let's talk about those books. You can click on that QR code, by the way, and I encourage you to go ahead and buy those.
Yes, my books are Break Down Better, 52 Restoring Devotionals for Burned Out Women. And the second book is a guided journal that I've paired with it, and it is called A Better Way. And then there's a third thing that I've recently written, but it's a free download that anybody can get if they go to my website. And it is a leader guide. So if there's any women out there that wants to use these two resources to do a women's study group, I have created, I think it's like 45 pages, and it's step by step to take them through how they can lead a women's group. So hopefully folks will go download that and start their own ladies groups.
Let me ask you a question, because sometimes women get a bad rap as being the leader of a business. And so is this something women can use in the business world as well?
I think they could actually, because there is some leadership tools that are in that guide and that you can use, whether it's with a women's group or at the job site. They may not be able to utilize the resources unless they do it on a break, but they can definitely take some of the nuggets from the guide into the workplace.
Absolutely. So let's dig a little bit deeper into the books. We want folks to go ahead and purchase those.
So Break Down Better. So I got that title from a literary agent at a writers conference, a Christian writers conference a few years ago when I was pitching the idea to him. And I was telling him that the storyline came from a breakdown that I suffered years ago. And it was that moment where I had a mental breakdown. My body was also just breaking down, and I collapsed on my living room floor. And I was begging God to take me home. I didn't want to live anymore. Contemplated taking my own life, but kind of decided against that and just asked him to do it for me. And the thing is that I had spent my life just really striving for perfection. That's a whole nother podcast story. But I had just reached that point where I was depleted and I just couldn't do it anymore. And I knew that it was a habit. It was a terrible habit. I was addicted to it and I couldn't stop. And so unless God changed me, I didn't know that I could make it anymore. So it was so crazy because I had known God my whole life. I was saved and baptized when I was 12, but I'd never heard his voice before. And at that moment, I really felt him whisper in my spirit, "Hold on, I'll restore you." And so from that moment on, we kind of went through a wilderness season. A lot of things had to change in me, but I was up for the challenge because I was ready. I was ready to surrender and I was ready to change. And so when I'm pitching this to this literary agent, he says, "You know what? It sounds like you could teach other people how to break down better." I'm like, that is a perfect title. And the subtitle, 52 Restoring Devotionals, Nehemiah rebuilt a city with God's favor and help that God provided in 52 days. And so I believe that if he can do that, then God can help restore us from burnout in 52 days. So that's kind of where the title came from. Each one of the days is a story of whether it's something that I've gone through personally. It provides also a prayer at the end. And then at the very back, I have God's promises, because he does promise to restore us. And he mentions that many times throughout the Bible. And so I included that at the back as well.
Was there any one thing that happened in your life that caused you to write the book? Like just one experience that you feel free to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, aside from the breakdown, that was the beginning. But what started me thinking about writing this particular book, I was actually writing my husband's story, and I was like 300 pages into my husband's story, and then I hit a brick wall and I couldn't do it anymore. And my husband told me, he's like, "I think that's because God is asking you to write your story." And my story really, I mean, it's been my whole life, but the one thing that happened was I was diagnosed with stage 3 melanoma. And I didn't, for about 10 to 14 days, I can't remember, when I was being tested to stage it, they had already thought it had spread throughout my body. And so for that time frame, I was waiting to get a report back from the doctor so that we knew what kind of treatment to do. And it was during that time that God started speaking to me in dreams. And I started having these vivid dreams, and I got so incredibly close to God during that 2-week period. And I mean, it was almost like there was some prophesying going on, visions, so many things that I'd never experienced before. And I was like, okay, I get it. So when my husband suggested that I write about my journey, that's exactly what I did. So a lot of the devotions that are in that book come from a wilderness season, a spiritual warfare season, and then also that season where God and me, we partnered. And we wrote these books together.
Do you feel like it's important for us to jump through hoops in life? And when I say that, is because you're going to have a great season. Then you're going to have another season where you've got to jump over somebody, climb over somebody, or whatever to make something happen. Mm-hmm. How important are those steps there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to understand and discern what are opportunities from God, what are opportunities from our enemy, and what are opportunities that are good opportunities but aren't great. And so that's one of the things that I'm learning to discern, especially in this new season as I'm trying to follow God's promptings, is I'm getting hit with all these opportunities. Most recently, I told you I retired last year. Oh, I kind of missed some of the working stuff and going to an office and stuff. And there was an opportunity that arose for me to be a private investigator. And that's part of my background when I was with the government. And I was so excited. I jumped on that opportunity. The pay was great. And I was so excited. But some things happened and that didn't work out. And I had to actually resign from that position. I'm like, okay, that was an opportunity. But I think it was also a test. And I don't think it was necessarily from God. And so what that job was doing was actually putting me in an environment that was not healthy. And it was also pulling me away from the ministry. And so I think we have to be careful when things come our way. And even if it's in some type of a ministry work, is really deciding, is this an opportunity from God or is this a distraction?
What do you think the difference is between a test, which is what you've been through, a test and just plain old timing about something to happen?
Yeah. Oh, that's something that I've really struggled with, timing, God's timing specifically. There's been a lot of things that have happened over the last 5 years of my life, from the cancer diagnosis up until today. And I'm in a journey. And for me to be prepared for what I'm doing today, I had to go through a lot of tests. I had to, and a lot of those became my testimonies too, by the way. But God needed to test that He can trust me with this newfound faith that I have. And am I really going to trust Him when things go a little sideways? And they have. I mean, I'll just tell you, in this last 5-6 years, I've gone through the change of life, and things have been just absolutely insane when it comes to my health and the changes that I'm going through, and how I'm able to maneuver through that is definitely been a test of my character. And how am I going to stay and complain all day? Am I going to be depressed all day? Or am I going to say, no, this is something that I can shine through. And with God's help, I'll be able to get through these things in this season of my life.
Absolutely. Vivian, thank you so much for that positive input. We can all use that. Everybody can. Thank you again so much for being on the show. And thank you guys so much for being with us as well. Vivian, let's give your website to the folks out there.
Yes, it's viviancumins.com, and there you can download that free resource that I was talking about, that leadership guide, as well as my books. There's also some devotions out there that'll link you over to YouVersion app. And you can get to my podcast, my media page, all the good things.
That sounds great. Thank you again so much for being with us. And thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Good afternoon, Sunshine. Medical Minute brought to you by Dr. Chuck with Lakeland's Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. So what is the Beamer? Okay, now the Beamer uses very gentle pulse to electromagnetic signals. This will stimulate healthy muscles, and it supports the temporary blood flow. Now let's talk Beamer and circulation support. Now the Beamer gently supports natural circulation in healthy muscles. Now that's what I call natural health. Thank you so much for watching your Medical Minute, brought to you by Dr. Chuck. You know who he's with. He's with Lakeland's Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. I hope you have a super duper awesome rest of the afternoon. You take care.
Lowe's knows that the projects you build in spring are the ones you can't wait to share. It's why we make sure you have our best deals with My Lowe's Rewards, and that you get help from people who've
been there,
done that.
Try this.
This spring, we'll help you build something rewarding.
Hey, Stan. What's up? I made you something. Oh, thank you. And I got something for you. You grew these? Of course.
Lowe's knows how to help you spring.